Let's talk about one of the most powerful and honestly most overlooked forces in innovation. It's not about being a genius and it's not about having a ton of funding. Nope, it's about something much more raw, pure, unfiltered frustration.
I mean, really think about that for a second. That one thing that drives you absolutely crazy, the bottleneck that slows you down every single day, or the tool that just never seems to work right. Most of us, we just complain about it, right? But what if that feeling isn't a dead end? What if it's actually the starting point for something incredible? And this is where we get to the heart of it. See, true innovators aren't just sitting in a lab somewhere, detached from the world, solving abstract problems. So often they are personally, deeply, and just relentlessly frustrated by a problem they simply can't ignore.
This is the huge mindset shift. For most of us, a problem is a reason to stop, maybe turn back, or just find a clunky workaround. But for an innovator, that exact same problem is like a giant, flashy neon sign pointing directly at a massive opportunity that everyone else is just walking right past.
Okay, so to really get what I'm talking about, I've got the perfect story for you. This is one of the best examples of this frustration engine at work. It's the story of how a database that powers a huge chunk of the modern internet was born, not in some fancy Silicon Valley office, but out of sheer annoyance in Sicily. So picture this. It's 2009. A guy named Salvatore Sanfilippo is running his startup LLOOGG right from his home. It's a classic entrepreneur story, except he was about to slam into a massive technical wall at full speed. The problem he had was super specific. His service, LLOOGG, needed to process a ton of live data, like instantly. But the database he was using, MySQL, just wasn't built for that. Every time it needed data, it had to go to the slow, spinning hard drive. As his traffic grew, the whole service just ground to a halt. I mean, you can just feel the frustration building, can't you? So he gets to this crossroads. The obvious thing to do was just throw money at the problem. Buy faster servers, maybe try some other off-the-shelf database. But Salvatore's frustration was so deep, so personal, that he chose the unthinkable path. He decided to build his own database from scratch, one that lived entirely in the server's super-fast memory. And how do you think the world reacted? Well, the so-called experts took one look at his creation, which would become Redis, and they pretty much scoffed at it. They said it was a toy, too simple. It couldn't do all the things a real database could. They said it was just a niche solution for a tiny, specific problem. They totally missed the point. Because here's the secret, right? By being totally laser-focused on solving his own painful, specific frustration, Salvatore accidentally built the exact solution that thousands of other developers out there desperately needed, but they didn't even know how to ask for it. He scratched his own itch, and in doing so, he solved theirs too. And here's the thing. This story isn't a fluke. It's not a one-off. This pattern of deep frustration leading to an accidental breakthrough, it happens over and over and over again. It's practically a formula for innovation.
I mean, take this. A couple of guys just wanted to sell snowboards online. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, it wasn't. Turns out every piece of e-commerce software they tried was clunky, crazy expensive, and just a total pain to use. It was a constant headache. So what they stopped focusing on selling snowboards and started focusing on fixing their frustration. They built their very own e-commerce platform, and that platform, born from all that annoyance, was Shopify. Or how about this one? There was this app called Bourbon, and it tried to do everything. Check-ins, planning, photo sharing, the whole shebang. The founders' big frustration? Their users were totally confused and ignored almost every single feature, except for one.
So they killed their grand vision. They threw it all away and focused only on the one thing people actually loved. They stripped away all the complexity to solve their users' frustration and their own. And that stripped-down, simple little app became Instagram. Okay, and one last one for you. A company made wallpaper cleaner, and their frustration was, well, existential. See, new vinyl wallpapers were coming out, and they didn't need the company's cleaning product at all. Their entire business was about to go extinct. They were on the brink. And then, out of that total desperation, an employee's sister-in-law, who was a teacher, had an idea. The cleaning putty, it was non-toxic, and it was really easy to mold. She said, hey, maybe kids could play with this. And just like that,
A dying cleaning product was reborn as the iconic toy we all know, Play-Doh.
So, all of these stories bring the question right back to you. After hearing this, you kind of have to reevaluate things, right? What are your own frustrations actually worth? Because they might be way more valuable than you think.
So why does this pattern work so incredibly well? Well, first off, when you solve your own problem, you guarantee it's a real problem, not some imaginary one you cooked up. It also gives you instant, genuine empathy for every single other user who's feeling that exact same pain. You become customer zero, the most passionate, insightful user you will ever have. And, maybe most importantly, your own frustration becomes the purest form of market research you could ever ask for. And if you need any more convincing, if you need a reminder of the sheer scale of value that's locked up inside these everyday frustrations, just look at this number. Over $60 billion. That's what Shopify is worth. A company that only exists because a few guys got really, really annoyed trying to sell some snowboards online.
So the next time something makes you want to just pull your hair out, just pause for a second. That friction, that annoyance, it might not be a roadblock at all. It might be the signpost, pointing you toward the next big thing. The only real question left is, which one of your frustrations is worth solving?